We're on the air, pjnet.tv. It's 9 o'clock East Coast time, and you are watching a bumper. But that's not what we're going to do the whole time. We are recording, we're streaming to Facebook and to Twitter and to YouTube, and we've got Lori Hayes standing by in our green room. So let's count down to Studio 18. Well, there we go. Good evening and welcome to pjnet.tv. I'm your host, Coach Prasick, and behind me you see Island Summer. What a nice thing to think about. Wouldn't you love to be at the beach right now? I personally, I won't answer that question. It's a rhetorical question anyway. But I know somebody that's at the beach right now, and she comes and visits us, about once a month. And it is her turn to be here, and here is the smiling face of Lori Hayes, and Lori is smiling because she is at the beach, among other things. What else makes you happy?
Oh, I had a book release yesterday. Finally. I'm so excited.
I didn't know. How long did it take to get to this point? What, a year, 9 months? How long's it been?
Do you really want the truth? Of course you do.
Not. Yeah.
Let's see. I started writing it in 2018, and I'm trying to think. In 2020, that's when the world went crazy with COVID, but I got a 2-book contract with Iron Stream Media. And so we've been working on it feverishly to get it ready. It can sometimes take 18 months, 2 years to actually publish a book. But we got this finished but I guess they bought it in June, and then it just came out yesterday. So we actually finished this in a year. Well, and then on top of it, I was working on a second book. So it was kind of crazy there for a little while.
I don't know how you do it. But you're driven. There's things that I don't know how I do, but if you're driven, you do it. There is no sacrifice too big, if you really love doing something, right? Book launches. You've done that before, though. Do they ever seem different? Do they ever get bigger? How is this book launch compared to others that you've launched?
Okay, so I've done self-publishing before. So when I was finished with it and it was in its final form, I just uploaded it to Amazon and up we went. So I didn't actually have a formal book launch. So this has been a learning process for me, and I would like to share that. But, basically they kind of give you a guideline of things that you need to do. And one of the biggest things was you need a book launch team. And that was a new concept for me. And you need about 25 or 30 people who will agree to be on your team. And you set up a private Facebook page so that you can communicate privately with them where nobody else can see that. And then you start prepping them, can you please share any posts that I mentioned about Island Summer? And, comment on it, share it. And some people post a lot, and then some people you don't really hear from. But the exchange is that they get a free copy. Ironstream was very generous. They gave me a PDF copy that was watermarked, and I was able to post that in there so that they could download that and maybe read it on their Kindle or get a Kindle app and read it however they want on their phone. And so in exchange for a free book, they're supposed to, share and like, and then we ask that they
35 cents an hour or something like that. Right.
Maybe less than that. But, and then they go to Goodreads and they post a review. And then I just ask them, could you go on Amazon? And this is kind of exciting, but I found out it's also on some of the Christian online stores. Mm-hmm. And it might even be in the Christian stores because I think they have a contract with them or contact somehow. Mm-hmm. And then it's also on Walmart online. So I thought that was really cool. And Books a Million, and Barnes and Noble. So that just made it more official for me. I was pretty excited about that.
Well, you, you
So
you actually bought one of your books.
I did. I actually bought two.
Okay.
I bought one for myself so that I could actually see the book. I can order them wholesale from Ironstream. I just haven't had the time to actually do that yet. So I have not even laid eyes on my book right now, yet. So I'm dying to go find it. But I know there's a bookstore that down here at the coast that carries my books. So I might go in there tomorrow and
You
see
need to
if
buy
they've
one.
ordered
Yeah.
my books.
Right.
I need to buy one.
Now, if
And
they've
so
only got one on the shelf, maybe you ought to leave it there. Let's
at
see.
least I can hold it and look at it.
Yeah, yeah, or sign the book. So I just happened to be passing by. Whoever buys this.
But this was a long time coming. I've been writing since I think around 2009.
Hmm.
And my dream was to get an agent and to get traditionally published. And so all this has happened. So it's taken forever, but yet it's happened so quickly. It's kind of interesting.
It's taken. Okay, only a woman would say something like that. Smoke's pouring out my ears trying to process that.
Okay, I'll explain that. The Venus way of saying that is I feel like I've been working toward this goal for, many, many, many years and working hard at it and still believing and still having faith that it was going to come to fruition, even though I wasn't seeing the results. And then once I got a publishing contract, it was like a snowball running down a hill, rolling downhill and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it just was kind of crazy there for a little while, trying to get this finished and then trying to do the other one. So that's the quick part of that scenario that I described.
There you go. Your book has some interesting endorsements.
Oh, yeah. So one of the women who started it, or I should say the woman who started it, the Blue Ridge, that whole thing, the Blue Ridge Christian,
The Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference.
Yeah. And her name is Yvonne and Lehman, and I asked her for a book endorsement, and she gave that to me a month before she passed away. And so it was just very meaningful to me. And I could read it to you if you want to hear it.
Please do.
But she put, I highly recommend Island Summer. It is intriguing from the beginning and delightful to the end. Lori Hayes blends an entertaining, meaningful story of adventure and faith and love. And it just means so much to me. And when I met her at that conference in, gosh, what year was it? 2018, I think it was. It was 2019. And I knew from the moment I saw her, I know this just sounds kind of creepy, but I just felt like, I feel like we were meant to connect. And we got to know each other. We ate lunch or dinner several times together. And I pitched my book from the standpoint of her being an editor for Lighthouse Publishing. And ironically, Lighthouse Publishing was bought out by Ironstream Media. Mm-hmm. And so there's a connection there because that's who bought my book. And then I reached out and asked her if she would endorse my book, and she did. And then a month later, she passed away.
Well, it's like she's still with us in so many ways. And
yeah, it's very special.
Who is this character?
Haha. He's one of my favorite characters in the book. That's Sam. And that's the hero's wild pet friend that he feeds fish to and confides in. And you just can't help but fall in love with Sam. I think he just made the whole story. I love him. Everybody I hear from just has fallen in love with him.
I'm going to tell you 3 pelican stories, all of them true. First of all, when you see the pelicans perched up on things,
pilings
in particular, Pelicans always face the wind.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they always face the wind. If you want to know which way the wind will, be blowing, they have a way of knowing that. The other thing is that, oh gosh, oh man.
Well, before you say that, the wild horses actually turn away from the wind.
Really?
So that's interesting. They do that so they can hear better because they're a prey animal.
How about that?
So that's interesting. I wonder why a pelican does that.
Well, pelican.
I wonder where its ears are.
Well, if
it has ears.
If you know anything about flight, you take off into the wind. It's a good thing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like you're already going faster because the wind is already going over your wing. Yeah. Aircraft carriers position themselves into the wind and they go full throttle as they launch planes. They launch them into the wind. It's trust me, it's a good thing if you understand physics.
So I bet that's why.
I can't think of the guy's name. Daytona Beach, he would be seen every morning feeding the pelicans. And if I could remember his name, you would know who I'm talking about. He made the Daytona Speedway. It's his. And
I probably would know.
Yeah, but he's actually a World War II veteran. And somebody asked him why does he feed the pelicans every day, and he said that he was, shot down and he's in a life raft, and he had passed out from the fatigue. And when he came to, there was a pelican perched on his head.
Wow.
So he grabbed that pelican, and that became his sustenance for days while he was awaiting rescue.
Wow.
And he said those pelicans, helped him. That pelican helped him that day. He wanted to help the pelicans every day. The other thing is that pelicans, what I would do back in the day when I was growing up, we would take a fish, a dead fish, and just kind of nail it to a piece of plywood or a piece of wood, and float that thing out in the water. And the pelicans would see this fish, and boy, they wham!
Oh, wow!
That was
wow. So even at my beach house, I have pictures of the pelicans, and all weekend long, I've been taking pictures of them flying over. I just love them.
They are,
and I don't even know where he came from in the story. He just showed up, and he just came to life.
And the name Sam, is that significant?
Made it up.
Just random name you attached. You don't even know that that's a male.
You're right.
Wait a minute.
See,
Sam.
It works either way. Sam could be Samantha or Sam.
My guess is that is a drake because of the distinct color patterns. But Ben Cooper is in the chat room. He will be able to tell us, I'm sure, whether that is a drake or a hen pelican. Sam the Pelican, part of your new book, Island Summer. So that's just a little preview into what's ahead. When you have been through this process, traditional publishing, I mean, it must be your life is like you're in a blender. Launch team, and now they give you the guidelines, but then you got to go do it, and then you.
Yeah, it's time consuming too. I had no idea. I've spent days just working on promotion. So before the book comes out, there are certain things that you need to do in the launch team. And I was already behind on that because I actually didn't know about it until about a month or so before. And so I had to catch up, but I've never done this before. And I spent several full days last week doing promotion, and I started doing Facebook posts, like the paid ads. I started doing the sponsored ads on Instagram, and then you just start posting. And I try to not just post my book cover all the time, or I try not to post like buy me post. I try to make it somewhat creative, but I don't want people to get irritated with me. So it's been a little bit of a challenge trying to promote it without over promoting it.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to go there. You're doing a little bit more creative than many. I mean, where are all
Thank
these?
you.
Do you have this talent, or do you have these websites? Do you have tools that you're using? Where do you get the ideas? How do you just
I
not
don't
publish
know.
the book cover? I mean, come on, we can do better than that.
I don't know. I'm a writer. I'm creative, I guess. And I'm into photography, so that maybe makes it a little easier. But I don't know. The posts just come to my mind, and I just go with it.
Well, you
I
worked
can't
at it.
answer that.
You
I
you
don't
but you
know.
worked at it. You didn't just post the book cover. Come on now. You made some neat stuff. You had some stuff
Thank you.
moving around and some water and some,
Thank you.
But I guess I say all this because somebody may be out there that wants to write and they've got this great manuscript and they say, "Wow, I've got a book." No, no, you don't have a book. You have that would be like me showing you a seed and saying, "This is supper." No, this is a plant. You plant the seed. There's such a process from, just getting the manuscript out must be a lot of work, but that's
Mhm.
just the beginning. That's
It
only
really is.
yeah.
I've been so busy doing this, and in the meantime, I'm trying to do my last proof for my Christmas book coming out. So I've been trying, and I've been pushing that off because I knew I had this book release coming. But also, to answer your question, I do have some tools. I have a video maker, so I can piece together different pictures and
Hmm.
little video clips and then put it to music. I do have that,
Hmm.
although I haven't really been using that much. And then I have Canva, so I use that a lot.
A lot of people use Canva. I tried it one time. It
Yeah,
looked a little complicated for me, but
I don't know. You just have really you're you're doing way more complicated things than that. But
but I have to
with your
figure out how they
animation,
did it so I can do it myself.
right?
But you got to get inspiration. You've got to have ideas. And okay, so obviously, this is a big moment in not only in your life. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
and you're on the mountaintop. It's great, but looming is that Christmas book you just mentioned. So how long are you going to
yes.
stay perched on the mountaintop, bathing in the experience? Okay, because you got to come down off that mountain.
I'm trying to juggle both of them. So the timing of coming to the beach was an accident. I didn't really realize when my book would be due and all the timing of this when I blocked out my beach house time. But it just worked out perfectly. But honestly, I've been doing more promo stuff, but I I am spending a lot of time working on my proof too. I spent several hours on that this morning because it's due on the 15th, but that's my final proof. And you and I talked about this before. I told you I had 5 edits, but it's really 3 edits. And then it goes to the proofreader, and then it comes back and I look at it, and then it goes back, and then I get to see it the final one. And I have to read that again and make sure everything's fine. And I'm pretty analytical, so I always find things, and my editor's probably cringing because she tells me it's not for editing, it's just for proofing it. But I can't let things go that bother me. So usually she cringes when I send it back to her.
All right, so you've done both now. Traditional publishing, that was a goal of yours, but you've also self published. If somebody's out there thinking about it, what advice would you give them?
Gosh, I mean, they're both a lot of work. Self-publishing is a lot of work, and I highly recommend hiring an editor that is skilled in your genre so that they can help you with developmental edits. It's not just about grammar and punctuation, it's also about developmental edits. And I actually did pay somebody to do that, and then it still had to go through the editing process. But the beauty of the traditional publishers, you have an editor that helps you, because paying for an editor is expensive.
Mm.
And even though I did that, we still had 3 rounds of edits. But the Christmas one, like I said, Island Summer, I had to rewrite it from the third point of view to the first point of view, and that was a major edit that I wasn't sure I wanted to do. But then when I got a 2-book contract, I'm like, okay, I can do this. But the Christmas book wasn't that involved because it was already in the first person. So it was much easier. And, but it's really nice having an editor because they catch things that I never would have caught. And not, like I said, not just grammar, it was just ideas or ways to say a sentence. And my editor, her name is Jessica, she actually, after we were on the third edit, she said, you need to go back and you need to search for all your was words and you need to fix as many of those sentences as you can and make them more active than passive. And I was like, oh my gosh. When I sent it back to her, I had 5,000 changes to it. And she was like, she read a bunch of them and then she thought, I like what I'm reading. I'm just going to accept all the changes and then I'm going to send it back to you for you to reread it. We did. But I was amazed, but it made my book so much stronger. It was amazing to me. I feel like it elevated me to a new level. And had I self-published that myself, I would have never known that. You can't always see the things that you are doing wrong. And it takes somebody else's eye beyond like beta readers. And I don't know. I feel like it put me on a new level. I hope.
And you have to be coachable.
Definitely. And, and it's their book, really. They bought it. So you have say so in it, but it's their book after they bought it, but who gave birth to there's an emotional attachment to the book, and then they start, cutting it up and hacking it, it must have some, but if you have a good attitude, it's their book now. Thank you.
And you're partnering with them for the best outcome. The overuse of the word that.
Yeah, you need to take those out too. Expunge them.
Expunge. Okay.
Expunge. Get rid of them. Chop them out if you can. If you can do that.
It's hard.
I know, especially if you have 2 that's in a sentence. Usually you can eliminate one of them. Is what I've learned.
I don't know about that, and that seems to me like that word just keeps rolling out. It's aggravating because I don't know. It's sort of like a placeholder. It's sort of like in dead air in radio or broadcasting. We just abhor dead air, so anything's better than dead air. Kind of, sort of, but okay. So my question that remains unanswered: when you're not coming down off the mountain, you're on top of the mountain, and you're doing the work down in the valley while you're up there. So you're kind of multitasking right now.
I do, but I'm really good at multitasking. It seems to be my life, at least the last couple of years. So.
Well, you're in the right business. Well, Lori, okay, so...
Oh, and I wore my beach shirt. I'm not just trying to be casual, but I thought it would be appropriate for the name of my book. It says Beach Life.
Well, and you're in, every time we have you on the air, that picture behind you is very familiar. But,
thank you.
That's not the same wall.
This is not at home, no.
You're not at home. But
at
now,
home.
Did you bring the picture from home, or do you have more? Let me guess, you got more than one of them.
I have more than one. I used to take them to flea markets and sell them. So I actually had this one above my bed at home, and I thought it worked better here, so I brought it down here.
Looks nice. Everything's nice. Well, Lori,
Thank
I know
you.
that you're excited, and folks, the launch of Island Summer is underway, and Lori is going to attempt to purchase what you did purchase one that's just being shipped to somewhere that you're not at right now. It may be on your doorstep.
It said it was coming Monday. I don't know why it's taking so long.
I don't know.
That's almost a week. That's a week. But
seems like it, yeah. Oh well.
I might just have to go to the bookstore and look for it.
I think you should try it. And if you take a picture of it at the very least, if it's
I'll
down here.
definitely do that.
I know
yeah.
you will. I know you will. Folks,
I can't wait to hold it in my hand.
okay. You've read it. Okay.
No, I can't wait to hold it in my hand. I've been seeing digital copies of it, and to see it in physical print.
It's just not the same. It's got that smell
No.
too, like new paper. It's got that,
Yeah.
it's probably, anyway. So, Lori, we're proud of you, girl. We really are.
Thank you.
And, can't wait to see what's next. But for now, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. You have worked so long and so
Thank you.
hard. And I hope that others will want to see it as much as you want to see it, because it sure is worth it. But folks,
Thank you.
appreciate it, Lori. We'll see it. Let's hear. We'll get an update next month about this time.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Well, folks, that was Lori Hayes. Oh, there you see the other view, the camera on the opposite wall at the Eagle's Nest. That's what it really looks like in here. And that is the broadcast facilities of pjnet.tv. Well, folks, it's hard. I know what it's like to be excited about your work, because I'm excited about mine. And it's good to have Lori and her enthusiasm and her joy. Thank you, all of you in the chat room. I see you there. And I think I'm going to read up on the chat and see what everybody's doing. But folks, we appreciate you joining us tonight on pjnet.tv. If you really want to experience this in a special way, I'm going to tell you the best kept secret on the internet right now. Listen carefully. Go to pjnet.tv. You can watch the program there. Yeah, it's there right now, live. Promise. And you can fellowship in the chat room with the most wonderful people who will want to follow you on Twitter. They'll want to friend you on Facebook. But besides that, they're good, solid people that we have gotten to know and love. And there's friends waiting for you there. Well, folks, before I leave, I want to challenge you. I challenge myself with these two questions. And maybe it will help you as it's helped me. Ready? First question. What is the single boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? And the second question is kind of a follow-up. When was that? Well, the goal here, I hope, is that we would never be satisfied with either answer.